All right, DJs, welcome to the Doja Cat Get Into It Yuh mix breakdown. The first thing you're going to want to do is download the 4 tracks that I have listed here. That's the Get Into It Yuh, the song, the hood instrumental, the Get Into It Yuh acapella, as well as the So Icy instrumental. And then once you have that in a playlist or in a crate, as I have here, I have it in a crate, you're going to want to line these songs up just like so. You don't have to line them up like this, but it just makes it easier for me. Another thing that you're going to be using in this particular mix is the sync button. Essentially, the sync button for me just helps me do quicker transitions when I'm trying to transition out of a song and get the next song loaded. You don't always have time to use the slider or the tempo slider to perfectly match the other tempo. So just using sync makes it instantaneous. So next thing that you're going to want to know for this particular mix is whatever hand you're most comfortable scratching with, you're going to want to load the first track, which is going to be the actual Get Into It Yuh song, on that deck. So I have this on the left deck because I'm most comfortable doing stab scratches, transformer scratches, and crab scratches with my right hand. And when I say my right hand, I do everything like this. So my transformers, my stabs, and my crab, I'm the best with my right hand. So I'm going to have the actual track over here on my left because we're going to be scratching mostly on this Get Into It Yuh track. So on the right hand side, we're going to go ahead and load up the instrumental. And as you can see, I have it slowed down to about 82 BPM just to make it easier. Actually going to slow it down a little bit more just to make it more digestible for the mix breakdown. So the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and show you what the first 4 or 8 bars, I think it's 4 bars, what the first 4 bars sound like. Okay, so that is what we have for the very beginning. So as you can see on the right hand deck, I'm going to have the instrumental. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I have this repeating at half of a bar. So just like this. So that's how that's going to start. And then on my left hand deck, all I'm going to do is, so what I like to do is I have my crossfader all the way to the right. So I can just leave this literally playing while this is playing with my volume fader all the way up. So while this is playing, this is how I get ready on this side. Obviously I have this cue point here, so I can just hit this cue point, come behind the track. Then all I have to do is open the crossfader, and then I can do these baby scratches. So all you're essentially doing is you're letting this play. I think in the actual mix I had it go 4 times, and then all you're doing is a quick 2 baby scratches. Then you're dropping this track, and then you're going to take off the loop of the track on the instrumental. Now I have through MIDI, I have this last pad set up to be my loop. So if you don't have that set up, you can actually have that set up, or you can actually use your loop button depending on the controller or mixer you're using. You can just go ahead and deactivate it with your loop button as well. So again, go ahead and unactivate that. You're gonna let this play through. So once you get to these 4 bars, or this last 4 beats, this last bar here, right on this 4, on the Get Into It Yuh track, before this actually comes up, you're gonna go ahead and make sure that your effect is actually activated already. You're gonna be on reverb. I have my reverb on 50%. And essentially all you're gonna do is a quick roll. So this is what it sounds like, those last 4 beats. So all we have is we're going to hold this half beat. So in Serato, make sure that you have 1 and 16 as your last 2 beats at the end. Like these arrows, make sure you have 1 and 16 here. So all we're going to do is for 3 beats, 1 and 2 are duh, duh, duh. We essentially have, as soon as we get to this 4, we have this. We have 1, 2, 3. And then da 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 da. We have 4 beats, or we're gonna hold this for 4 counts. Well, technically it'll still be here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. And as we do that, we're going to increase our reverb here. And then as soon as the beat drops, we're gonna go ahead and deactivate that reverb. So this is exactly what we have. Actually, that's my fault. I didn't have the reverb on. So let's do that one more time. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. And as you can see there, I actually deactivated my reverb a little bit before the actual drop. Whatever is comfortable for you, it's not gonna make too much of a difference. But again, we have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. So of course, as that plays, and I just went ahead and set this cue point. You don't need to set this cue point right here. I just have this set so I can play these at the same time. But as you do that 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, you'll end up being right here with both of the tracks playing right here. Both of the tracks will be right there. So after that, this is what we have next. So as you can see, once we hit this beat number 9 right here, before we hit that beat 9, we have an echo, and I have my echo on half a beat. We're gonna echo the track out right where I had it. So if we go back and do that one more time, we have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 4. So right on that 4, you're gonna actually just go ahead and activate that echo. Right after you activate that echo, you're just gonna fade out your fader. Now really quickly, right after you do that, as that's fading out, as you're fading that out and you activate that echo, you're going to actually go ahead and load the acapella. Now, as soon as you load that acapella, you're gonna be going from this cue point right here. I say I just got him fuck, get into it. And we're gonna actually be scratching right here. I say I just got him fuck. We're gonna be scratching on that. Wow, that sounded very terrible. So we're gonna be, that's crazy. We're gonna actually scratch right here. I say I just got him fuck. That sounds better. Anyway, so we'll be scratching right here, okay? So what you wanna do is you wanna go ahead and set a cue point right here at the time 101.8 or like 102. And then you're also gonna wanna go ahead and preset a cue point at 134 as well, and you'll see why. So let me go ahead and show you what the next part looks like, then we'll break it down. Make sure you're on half echo. So as you can see there, I did mess it up a little bit, but all we pretty much did is we went ahead and activated that echo, and then we went ahead and loaded the Get Into It Yuh, and then we started right here. So just pay attention to the timing. I'll do it one more time, and make sure you deactivate that echo before you actually load in that Get Into It Yuh acapella. So let me do it one more time. Okay, so now let's go ahead and I'm going to show you the scratch pattern once, and then we're going to break it down. Now, we're not going to break it down super in depth, but I am going to break it, or I'm going to do it slow enough so you can kind of see what I'm doing. So let me go ahead and do it first, the full thing, after we hit the cue point. I say I just got him Get into it. Okay, so those are the 2 scratch patterns we have. So one more time, I'm gonna go ahead and start with the cue point. We're gonna start by catching that, closing the crossfader, pulling back. Then we have 2 stabs. But on that second stab, we're actually gonna catch it at the end. We're gonna close the crossfader. Then we're gonna have a fast pullback with the stab. Then we're gonna let our platter go with a kind of like a transformer. So this part will go close, ba, ba. So all we have is we're letting the platter go, then we're coming back with 2 transformers. So one more time. Once we get here, we're gonna do another click on the crossfader, and then we're gonna do a slow pullback. So that's gonna be our first 4 beats. One more time. Okay, so once we get here, we're gonna do a crab scratch. This is gonna start that second bar. So that's the whole entire second 4 beats. So let me do it one more time.
Get into it, yeah.
Okay, so one more time. We're gonna start with the crab scratch. Right after we do the crab scratch, we're gonna do a quick pullback again with the stab. And then right here, we just have some more stabs. So one more time. Okay, one more time. Starting with the crab. Stab. Sorry, so sometimes I kind of like lose track if I go too slow. So let me do it one more time. Just like that. One more time. Just pay attention to my hand movement. I'm going to do it as slowly as possible. Just pay attention. Really, it's just a crab with some stabs and some transformers. So one more time.
Get into it, yeah.
So then once we get here, this is actually a little bit easier. So we're going to let the actual song play past the yuh. We're going to catch it. Same thing as before. Close the crossfader, pull back before that yuh. Close, pull back. We're going to start with another 2 stabs. So once we go yuh, yuh, we're going to slowly pull back on the platter. Crossfader is open. Then we're just going to have some simple stabs. We're going to let the platter go. These are actually pretty quick. So we're just going to kind of push on the crossfader. Just like that. So we're going to let go as we push. And do the stab at the same time. So all of these sounds and cutoffs are going to be made using stabs. Then we're going to pull back slowly on the platter one more time. And then we're going to do just 2 baby scratches. And then we're going to actually hit that cue point right there. So let me do the entire thing. I know this is probably a little bit confusing, but let me do the entire thing one more time a little bit slowly. But in beat, obviously I hit that a little bit late, but in beat, then you're gonna hit that second cue point here. So let me do it one more time, a little bit behind this in real time so you can kind of hear it. Let me reactivate that sync and then slow it down just a little bit. So let's go from here. I'm gonna actually go from here. Make sure you have your selector on the acapella here, and then you have half echo ready. Okay, so as you can see, after we went ahead and hit this cue point here on the yuhs, all we're gonna do is just activate that. We're gonna activate right on those yuhs, and as we activate on those yuhs, all we're gonna do is actually just cut out the instrumental. So I'm actually gonna start it just like this. All we're doing is cutting it out like this, and then putting this back in. Again. So after we do that part, literally on the second beat, so if you, I'm gonna go ahead and count this actually with you. So here we go. So we have 1, 2, 1 and 2. So 1 and 2, right on that 2. So essentially we have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So right on that 2, 1 and 2, we're gonna cut this track out, which is the instrumental. We're gonna load up the So Icy instrumental, and then we just have a quick scratch pattern here. So on 2, we're gonna cut, load this track, 1 and 2 and 3, and on that and we're gonna have, all we have is 2 baby scratches, kind of like half of a chirp, where we're gonna go forward on the platter, cut the sound, then we're gonna pull back on the platter, open that crossfader, and then 1 more baby scratch, and then drop. So again, we have okay. So once we have that, essentially after we come back from on this acapella here, sorry, wrong thing. Once we come back from hitting this cue point, this is essentially what we have. Same thing here. Fade that out, and then use the echo, and then we're gonna actually use this cue point again. Okay, so as you can see, I messed that up a little bit, but once we get to this point right here, after this 24th beat, we're gonna have the exact same scratch pattern that we did earlier. So we have cut, 2 stabs, close, same exact thing we did earlier. Okay, so one more time from that ending. And this isn't the exact part of the instrumental, the hood instrumental, but essentially it's pretty much the same thing. More importantly, you need to be worried about the acapella side. So don't worry that the instrumental isn't in the exact same place, because it'll essentially sound the exact same. And essentially there is the entire scratch pattern for you, or the entire mix for you. So now I'm going to go ahead and do the entire thing just a little bit slower. I'm going to do it a lot slower just so you can kind of see the whole thing done in slow motion. So I'm going to go ahead and load this here, load this here.
If she ain't got a fun, that fucking get into it, yeah. And I say I just got a ball. Get into it, yeah. Pop out with a truck. Get into it, yeah. If you go to church, get into it, yeah. If she ain't got a fun, fucking get into it, yeah. I say I just got a ball. Get into it, yeah. Pop out with a truck. Get into it, yeah. If you go to church, get into it, yeah.
And then the only thing that's different is in the actual mix that I did for Instagram and YouTube. On this last Yuh, I actually had reverb. I activated reverb at the end, so it would sound more like this. And then immediately after you activate that reverb, you're gonna want to go ahead and cancel out or pull down your fader so you don't get any more of the track. So that is the mix breakdown for Get Into It Yuh. Please let me know if this was helpful. Let me know if I need to slow it down a little bit more. Let me know if I need to go over anything more in depth. But essentially, I tried to go pretty slow, not too slow. I didn't want to make it like an hour long or anything too crazily long. But I hope this is enough to help you do this entire mix. Definitely leave me some feedback. Without further ado, catch y'all in the next mix breakdown.
But you ain't think that I would slide when it was time to slide. All white bit with a black Glock sitting inside the ride. 007 niggas died when we was coming by. I was not involved, but I don't mind sending you to the sky. Hallelujah, Jesus Christ, I think my neck's sick. Bought a couple diamonds, had to